Good. Thank you so much for joining us. We just had a wonderful half hour with Coop. Great discussion, some great memories, and I'm excited to kick off our half hour and keep on going.
Yeah, let's do it, buddy. I listened to Coop. Just the amount of passion that Coop has for the project, and also just the amount that he cares about the community and everybody in it is just awesome. And it's been awesome since day one. Like I can't say enough good things about everything Coop has brought to this project.
I would say from his story, his 2022 Valentine was the Links Discord.
Yes, yes. I still think it's so. I mean, he's got a absolutely wonderful fiance, but I think his second love is Lynx. That's the general consensus of what I've gathered from Creep to this point.
Absolutely. So let's roll right into it with our quick hitters that we're going to be asking everybody. Do you have a
Okay.
favorite Links memory from 2022?
I have a few there, and maybe, and Ryan, this is total cop out because I should have one, like you said, but I'm gonna give you a handful of really incredible memories. I think one, the Mint was unbelievably good, and was an absolute blast to be a part of. I think that two, the um, just the enthusiasm from everybody involved in this project in the early days and ever since has been something that I've never personally been a part of. Never with that kind of that much enthusiasm and fervor and passion and just commitment. It's been unbelievable. A couple interesting ones. When I did the Callaway deal with Chip Brewer, who's the CEO of Callaway, and to hear his take, this guy's been in the golf industry for a long time, runs a big public company in the world of golf. His take would basically say, listen, what you guys are doing over at Links, like with the concept of a community at the center of something new and different, is important in the future of golf. Hearing something like that from a lifelong leader in this space was a pretty cool memory. I was lucky enough this year to play in a pro-am with Zach Johnson, the future Ryder Cup cap, multi-major winner. And come the fourth hole, he said, it's natural stuff that small talk. He said, "Oh, Jim, what do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm a co-founder of this really incredible project called LinksDAO." And he said, "Oh, I've heard of LinksDAO. I heard about it from Cam Smith." And just to get the idea of how the professional world of golf really knows about our project. Same thing from Sean O'Flaherty, who's Rory McIlroy's manager. He heard about our project from three of his buddies in Northern Ireland that don't even play golf. And just to see how wide the project went, like these moments of kind of just serendipity almost to hear about people knowing about a project and feeling passionate about it, I think were just remarkable moments
That's
throughout
amazing.
things.
I will allow the multiple memories because all of those are big hitters. On the flip side of that same coin, is there a obstacle or challenge in 2022 that stuck out to you?
Coop kind of talked about this a little bit. Doing something totally new and novel, I think, is for me personally is really exciting. But it's not without its challenges. I think in my last job, I built a business over the course of many years across a bunch of different countries, and everybody was a full-time employee, and it was a private company, so you work hard internally. And with Links now, it's been totally different, right? Links is a totally different beast. You're building with a community of passionate believers, and you're building out in the open. So I think that, and this isn't a bad challenge. I think it's just an incredible opportunity to learn something totally new and novel because there's no playbook and nobody's ever done it before. I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's one thing. The other one, which I think has been a really fun journey, is how do we build this into something really sustainable for the community for decades to come? Right? How do you go from just we're going to go out, we're going to buy a golf course that everyone's going to be a member of to, we want to buy, multitude of golf courses so our members everywhere across the world can access in real life golf experiences from Links. And then also, how do we build what amounts to be the most valuable digital membership in the world of golf? And I think that's been a fun journey. And, we've been lucky enough to get like the best of the best people on the full-time team to build this project, like Coop, like Greg, like Connor, like Chris Bruce, like Nick and just everybody on the team to help us kind of see that vision through. And that was challenging at first to try to sort out exactly how we were going to do that. Because usually you have a business idea, a sustainable idea for a project in a business, and then you put it into action. This one is we're going to buy a golf course, and then that's obviously still the number one priority. In addition to that, how do we build out something that is going to be here for years and years and years to come? It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like we're all authors who wrote the ending or conclusion first, and then everything else is like, hey, we got to figure it out. It's on its way.
That's a perfect way to put it, Ryan. Yeah, totally.
Do you have a favorite golf specific memory of 2022? Coop gave us a great recollection of a specific shot. Anything for you that sticks out?
Uh, so I think the when we did our event in Austin, um, some of the core team and a lot of kind of the pod leadership got together a little bit early and played around the golf. First time any of us had met each other in person. I think that was easily one of my favorite memories. I think how many of us, there were like 10 of us on the first tee, all teeing off together. I think it was like 32 degrees with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. So it was like 4 degrees with the wind chill. It was like the worst golf weather ever, but that was easily one of my warmest golf moments of the year, one of my best golf moments I think ever, having us all together in the same place playing golf. Um, and then I'd say going to all these different places and playing golf with all these different Links members has been amazing, right? Done it in New York, obviously done it in Connecticut, played with Links members out in California, played with Links members in Scotland. And every single time I get on a driving range and meet the folks from our community in real life, like it's just remarkable. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced before. And I think all of my favorite golf experiences this year have happened with other Links members all across the world.
That's amazing. The camaraderie of this project and the camaraderie of the game of golf is quite special. So we will exclude for this next segment Links members to make it a little bit challenging for you. Who is your dream foursome from any point in history, alive or dead, to play with? Your three people.
Um, I would say, can I do it actually so there's four people and I'm caddying for them?
Absolutely.
We do a little
This is
twist.
your round.
Okay, great. So I would say, and I'm going to do it. You're going to hear a lot of historical figures. I'm going to do very modern figures. I would like to play and caddy for Tiger Woods, Jay Monahan, Phil Mickelson, and Greg Norman in a foursome. And one at a Muni course where it's 6 hours. So they have to spend 6 hours together in the same place and just basically be a fly on the wall, listen to what that conversation is.
Who do you think you give the most tips to that day, and who do you think wins?
I think probably Jay would get the most tips, simply because he's the only non-professional. I would gather that Phil and Greg would probably take the other two out at this stage.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. Great answer. So I want to circle back to a word that really means a lot in the sense for links, and that is community. And in a past interview, you've said community is the foundation of the whole project. It's the cornerstone of how we built things. So over the last year, we've built an amazing community. We've played some great golf, and we have a lot more in front of us. So how do you see the community growing and evolving in its second year of existence?
I think, right, we want to. The first year was about, again, the community was built totally organically. And then it was about how do we organize things so people can get the most out of their experience with links and also contribute as much as they want or they don't want to, right? It's player's choice. Anybody can contribute or not contribute as easily as possible. And I think the as we move forward, we need to keep refining the tooling and the way that we're structuring things, of course. But how do we make it even easier for everybody to get more out of the project? More value, more experiences, building new relationships with other Links members. And that's really what we've been focused on as we're building our members only Clubhouse platform, right? That's going to be critically important as we go to next year to make sure that everybody can have the best experience possible. And then also, how can we bring new folks into the community? So, one of the main philosophies that this whole project started with was, there's a lot of golf clubs out there. There's a lot of country clubs. There's a lot of memberships. And most of them throughout the world of golf are predicated on keeping people out, right? There's a limited number of spaces. It's extremely expensive. It's about who you know. It's about networking, right? It's who's your grandfather and all these different things. It's a bunch of old white dudes basically playing golf together to have a lot of money. We want to be the country club, the golf community for everybody, right? It's permissionless. There's no application process. If you want to be involved, we want to have you here, right? So it's going to be about, growing the community, never ever having additional Genesis passes. That's a finite number, right? But bringing additional people into the community to help enrich the experience for everybody. And I think that that's going to be an important part of keeping it very democratic, kind of keeping it very inclusive. Is like we don't want to just have a handful of folks working on such an incredible project like this. We want to bring new folks in and have a breath of fresh air, and then again, kind of grow the overall experience for everybody involved.
Absolutely. And I want to circle back to the Genesis and talk about some numbers from 2022. So we minted 9,090 Genesis memberships, sold them to just over, I think, 5,600 unique owners. 1 year later, we still have 5,300 unique owners. So pretty fantastic stat right there. We have over 28,000 people in our Discord and over 40,000 followers on Twitter. We've talked about getting the next 100,000 golfers to become members of Links, and there are a multitude of different ways to accomplish that. Are there any specific rollouts? I know you mentioned Clubhouse in the following year that you would like to see, and where do these golfers come from? What kind of stage are they in? Where are they located? And what type of golfers are they?
I mean, it's everybody on the spectrum, Ryan. So, a good example, just if you take it as like a cross section of our current community, there's people who play golf professionally, like plus two, plus three handicappers that have been playing their whole life in our membership. There's people in our membership that through like link ups that I've heard about this multiple times in various link ups that like this is their first or second or third time playing. There was this great conversation with a couple folks that I had when we were at our Austin event, where one guy was in his late 40s and he was number two at a major hedge fund, right? And then the other person had just graduated college and had been playing golf for a handful of years, right? And they're part of the same membership and they're having a beer and they're laughing and they're having a great time. Like that does not happen very often in this world. And it's just so cool that we're all part of something that can like facilitate these experiences. So I think there's absolutely no reason to say these are the type of people that we want to bring in. We just want to make sure that anybody that wants to be a part of something special like this has the ability to join. Geographically, we want to be totally global, right? I think right now about 85% of our membership is in the US. And if those are the folks that want to continue to join, fantastic. But we want to open the gates up to everybody, right? I think that that's also very, very important. Not only just because we want to bring in a very diverse set of ideas and voices and things of that nature, but also I feel like meeting new people across the globe like enriches everybody's experience, right? It just makes the whole thing like a heck of a lot better. And so we're going to be, in order to facilitate this, later on this year, we're going to be rolling out kind of an entry level pass that gets a subset of like the digital benefits that we see today. Not playing at our golf course when we acquire it, not a handful of like the more top and premium things, and certainly none of the governance elements. But this is going to be a way again. We're going to be onboarding the next 100,000 Links members.
Fantastic, and I can't wait for that to be rolled out. I would like to advance the topic of community into an organizational challenge that you may have felt this year. The DAO is set up in a very unique way at Links, where the DAO is a high-powered advisory board, and the Links Corporation acts as the executor of all of the Links functions. So, how has the community, being both the customer and the advisor in a corporate stature, How has that been a struggle, I guess, and how has that shifted your thinking in serving both the community being part of the people that steer the ship?
Well, I think that I don't feel like this has been much of a challenge, to be honest, up to this point, and I'll tell you why. It's because of our incredible pod leadership and moderator team. Like I think that that has been something that it can't be overstated how valuable it's been to the overall project and how it's helped makes things just move a lot faster, move a lot smoother, and just help for very little organizational pressure. I mean, again, my last gig, I had 1,100 employees at the company. And having this type of structure, right? Obviously, you've been front seat to all of this naturally, but to have this type of structure basically means that you can have a small core team of folks that are working on the project, 24 hours. Well, I shouldn't say 24/7, say 7 days a week, 9 hours a day, whatever it is. And even though our team, they love the project so much, they work a lot harder than that. But you have a small core team that's saying, all right, this is what our community wants. We're going to go out and we're going to make that happen. We're going to be facilitating everything that they want, make it very smooth and very easy. And you just have a community saying, this is what we're looking for. I think that this has been from like a business standpoint and having run a bunch of different organizations, like this has been just such an aha moment to me where I think that this is going to be a key part of like how things are run in the future in a lot of different projects, right? It's like we all have a common goal, right? We all want to have this incredible in real life golf experience, go out by this golf course, have everybody who chooses to be a member there be a member there. We also want to have all these incredible benefits, and we want to have access to professional tours, and we want to have access to all of these great things. Well, that's great. You just have this community saying, this is what we're looking for. You have a small, talented team go out and execute it. It actually, the whole thing works very beautifully. And generally speaking, it's been extremely smooth.
In one of your recent interviews, you talked about your time at Teeds, and if you wanted to go get customer feedback, you'd spend 100 days, $100,000 to go out and get the information from all of the customers that you're trying to reach in your segment. And you said the beauty of the community being both the advisory board and the customer is they're already in one location and they're willing to provide what they actually want because the team has shown that they're willing to deliver value as soon as they provide that input, and it has definitely helped the galvanization of Link's growth over 2022, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really has, right? And I think that that's going to be something that we want to see continue, right? We want that constant feedback loop. And we haven't had any trouble getting really good, strong, constructive feedback from the community
Hmm.
because basically the whole point of this type of setup is you're able to do things like go out and buy a golf course, right? You're able to strike legal partnerships with public companies like a Callaway by having the corporate entity, but then also you just have, like you said, an incredible feedback loop for what the customers and what the community is looking for that core team can go out and execute on.
Yeah, and I think the efficiency of having a core team be focused and on the ball is amazing. And we've seen the DAO contributor model over the last year ramp up and ramp down excitement and the ability and talents and time of everyone in there. And so there is a nice balance between the two. The question being, to your past experience, how would you rate the progress of a full-time staff with a contributor network working behind them compared to a fully full-time staff? Do you see that we're getting more done, less done? Are there pros and cons of both?
I mean, we're getting a hell of a lot more done. Like it's mind bending to me what we've all achieved together in the last 12 months. Again, like, Mike Dudas he's one of my best buddies, right? We've known each other forever. And I remember he lives in New York City. I'm in Connecticut. He was going to visit family up here. We met up and we started talking about links and what this thing could be. And that was I think it was just over a year ago. And the fact that basically, we have over 30 partnerships, access to hundreds of private golf courses for our membership. We have deals with a lot of the largest companies out there in golf. We are strategically partnered with, who's arguably the best golf course management company in the game to help us source and run the golf course after we buy it, and just all of these incredible things that have happened to this point have happened within 12 months. I think if you were trying to do something like this within like a traditional model, well, one, I don't think it would work because if you don't have the community, the whole thing is just a handful of guys going out and trying to buy a golf course, right? There's not, it just doesn't have the kind of that central power that we have as a group, which is just this incredible group of really enthusiastic people that love the game of golf, and that is kind of like bar none foundationally what the most important part of this project is. However, if you did have that and you were just trying to hire a bunch of people and you weren't getting the aspect of contribution from the community, I mean, this thing would take years to get to where we are right now. And we'll continue to move a lot faster because what we're doing is interesting. What we're doing is novel. Kind of the main players in the sport, which we all love, have really taken notice of what we're doing, and that allows us to move a lot faster.
I'm glad you brought up Kemper in that answer because I believe that's one of the key decisions that we had a fork in the road of are we going to do this or are we going to get the best in the business to enable us to be successful? I think you said that in the very beginning, no one on the founding team knew how to go out and buy a golf course. And so making that decision to partner with Kemper just increases the odds of our success and de-risks the project. Along with that decision and the last year of learnings, is there anything in 2022 that you learned that will enable 2023 to be successful as we grow towards one and then 10 golf courses?
I think on the golf course front, Brian, because I think that's kind of what you're zeroing in on. We are now pretty darn good at being able to understand what a good golf course opportunity is. We know how to vet it from an infrastructure standpoint. We know how to vet it from a financial standpoint. We know what areas of the country and the world we want to be looking at today and in the future, right? Based on a multitude of different elements. And I think just generally speaking, we know how to navigate the world of golf in a just a completely different way than we might have at the beginning of this project, right? So I think that this year, one of the remarkable things is that the project accomplished so much. Well, we needed to get up to speed on what is a pretty steep learning curve, right? Like how to buy a golf course, how to basically source the golf course, how to interact with all of these various companies that are bringing us so many benefits right now, and then also how to organize a community and deliver what they want, right? So I think that now we have all this collective knowledge in these different areas. In real life golf, that could be our golf course, which we're going to be buying, or other golf courses that now we have access to. All the great digital benefits we have from our partners, and how to deliver very quickly for a community. We can take all these learnings that we had from the past year and really apply them to move faster in 2023.
It's like in 2022, we learned how to provide value immediately. And so, continuing on the acquisition of golf courses, taking a further deep dive into that, is the golf experience at a golf course. Typically, if you are a member, you pay your initiation, you pay your dues, you get to play golf, you get to use the clubhouse. If they have tennis or swimming, you get to have tennis or swimming. Um, what are you most excited about when we talk about Links reimagining the modern golf and leisure club?
Just the members basically drawing up all the rules. I think I'm really excited about that. And like, okay, so theoretically, country clubs, members have voting rights and stuff like this, right? But like it ends up being like five people on the board that make all the decisions. But with our community, with the Links family, like this is going to be on-chain voting, and it can, theoretically be almost completely non-political, which is so cool. I'm so excited for that, right? Because like getting a golf course is cool and it's fun, but then it's the vibe you have when you go there, right? It's what the place is. And as we know in our project, it's the people that make the project. And it's going to be the people that make the golf course too. So I'm really excited for the membership to basically draw up what this entire place looks and feels like. I'm really, really pumped about that. And then like some other cool, and I've talked about this a couple times in some podcasts and interviews, like more Web3 based elements to the course itself, right? Like on all the par threes having, cameras where, if you get a hole in one, it automatically like mints a one of one NFT for you and drops it in your wallet, right? Like you basically scan your QR code and it reads your wallet and you drop it in there. I think there's gonna be some really, really fun things like that. And just the byproduct of like, again, a lot of country clubs, it's got an aging membership, right? And it has a certain look and feel and vibe. And there's been some that have come up in recent years, like, and these aren't country clubs, these are just clubs that anybody can go play, but like a Sweetens Cove that just has like a really fun vibe to it. And considering the kind of the makeup of our community, I know that ours is going to be a lot more like, playing in your bare feet and listening to music versus like you got to tuck in your shirt. And I'm really pumped for just a totally different experience what you see at other high quality golf courses.
I'm so excited for that. I think it was within maybe the first month, and we were talking about the Word doc that created the Links
Yeah,
charter in December, and I said 1 ETH right now to name the first hole. And with digital tee boxes, you can sell naming
you could
rights,
do
and we
that
can do it
totally.
on a day, week, month, year, and the
Exactly.
technology creativity component of the membership is definitely going to be innovative and bring a lot of unique fun to golf.
Totally.
So, talking about on-chain, we got a few minutes left. How important do you think it is for the NFT and the Genesis membership to be permissionless and democratic? That if I want to join Links, all I have to do is go to OpenSea and buy it, and as soon as I'd like to leave Links, I just go to OpenSea and sell it. How important do you think that ease of transaction is for this membership?
So I think for everything we've done up to this point, I think it's very important. I think that that's a key element, right? And like a lot of times, if say you're around New York City and you want to join a club, it costs 100, 200, $300,000 initiation fee that you'll never get back. It takes a couple of years to actually get into the club, and if you want to get out of the club, you just quit. There's no transfer of membership, right? Like a pasatiempo. If anybody on the stream hasn't seen what that structure is, like Google it, pasatiempo in California. They have a really cool novel structure for their membership. And so like for us, that permissionless element I think is very important. And the ability to kind of like come in and out as you see is right for you is also really novel and super important. So that we anticipate is going to stay.
Fantastic. Love it. And so, as we come up on time, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your insights of the last year of Links and the year moving forward. Is there anything that I wasn't able to ask you about that's been on top of mind that you want to share with the audience?
I think the only thing that's top of mind for me right now is to make sure that you have water and throat lozenges because 6 hours is a long time to be chatting, man. So I can't wait to tune in for the whole thing. Thanks for having me, Ryan. It's been a blast. Everybody, thank you for being part of this incredible community. We're just getting started. The best is yet to come, and we're going to have a killer 2023.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, thanks. Take care.
See ya. All right, everyone.